What's going on, y'all? Here to bring you your week 3 in review. Browns Steelers. Browns pulled that out. You know, one thing's for sure. Regardless who at quarterback, Browns will run that ball. I believe when Deshaun Watson comes back, I believe they'll be one of the few teams that you can call, as close to complete as possible. Pittsburgh pretty soon is going to have make a QB decision. Trubisky is just the stop gap right now, but pretty soon you're gonna have to grow with your future. Excuse me, had to. But Browns got that 29-17. When you see the Browns, man, be able to run the football in Pittsburgh like they did, that's just not really nothing against Pittsburgh. That's just tell you how good the Browns is and how good that offensive line is. And they left tackle did leave early, but I'm not too sure what's the status of him. Texans Bears pulled that out. Like we all knew, it was going to be a close one at Soldier Field. What's going on with them Bears pass catchers, though? Man, your leading receiver is your tight end, 2 catches for 40 yards. They're going to have to do a little better. Yeah, they ran the ball, but they're going to have to be a little bit more efficient in the passing game. The Texans is coming out and giving competition, regardless of their record. They coming out to compete early on. So that's a good thing, man. Maybe the Texans, even though they're going to still be weak, maybe they're a little better than what I gave them credit for. Who knows? We'll know in about another couple weeks. Raiders and the Titans, I'm a little surprised about that one. I'm not surprised how close it was because like we discussed earlier, that the Raiders struggle in the morning when they got to go across the states. So they had to go to Tennessee. But given the makeup of Tennessee, I was surprised on that one. Raiders coming to a slow start. Will they pick it up? I believe so. However, it's not a good start. It's a very concerning start. They're 0-3. Titans won 24-22. I mean, they're gonna have to do better, man. Is it gonna be the teams that bring some physicality is what they struggle with? They choked that Cardinals game. Man, that's a lot, man. They're gonna have to get it. They're gonna have to they in a must-win situation because 0-4, some changes might have to be made. Colts Chiefs. Colts won 2017. We all expected that. The better team won that. Regardless of what the Colts won by, the Colts still won. It was at home. The Colts is also one of them teams that can be kind of close to complete, as far as the defense, the running game, and quarterback situation. And, they may not have these superb outside receivers, though. But as far as just the makeup of their team, is definitely it's definitely not only playoff worthy, but somewhere that can go, As far as with the way the Browns and the Colts make up, it's pretty interesting. You got to watch out for both them teams, actually, So, Colts, man, put out a must-win, and they did that. Chiefs, I believe Chiefs pretty soon, maybe not early on, but pretty soon they will be going downhill because, like I said, man, the Chiefs is really not that good, y'all. Not this year. Yeah, will they still get some wins? Yes. Will they, fight? Yes. Is Mahomes good? Yes. However, losing the weapons, man, losing Tyreek Hill, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how good Kelsey is. It's going to hurt this year. It's going to hurt because they replaced it with mediocre wide receivers. And you got a team full of mediocre wide receivers in the tight end, and you already didn't have running backs who really apply themselves and who, you ain't got one of them Colts and them Dallas running games, man, so they definitely will struggle. Dolphins, Bills. Okay, look at the Dolphins off to a hot start, 21-19. Dolphins off to it. Like I said, Tua, when it comes down to it, he could throw a pretty deep ball. But anything else underneath, I don't know. But he got two deep ball wide receivers, y'all. So, you know, that fits to him. They definitely built that team around his strengths as a quarterback. So, that team off to a hot start. Don't sleep on them. The Bills, they could have handled that. They could have handled that situation at the end a lot better. Dude should have went down. Dude should have knew about the clock instead of trying to, get all them extra yardage or try to get out of bounds. He should have just failed, and then so they'd be able to clock it. And if they would have clocked it, I believe that the kicker would have made it, and Bills would have had, I believe they would have made the kicker, would have won the game. My question is, did they tell that man to get down early? Did they tell him not to fight for extra yards? If not, sometimes, man, you be in a moment of the game and, you have a Chris Webber moment. And I believe he had a Chris Webber moment if they told him. And also, man, that punt block, that was key. That was huge. So, yeah, man, maybe the outcome would have been different on that end. Maybe, I don't know. Or it would have been tougher, seeing how, they probably needed a whole touchdown to win. So who knows, but that was nonetheless, that was a good win for the Dolphins. I believe Jalen Waddle has a little growing injury for fantasy implications that y'all might need to take a look at, keep an eye on, because anybody who's built off of speed like that and is dealing with a growing, that's definitely going to affect them. So let's see how bad that growing is. Lions and the Vikings. Vikings got that win, as we knew. Lions, man, quit playing with them. Lions is going to compete. They ain't going to win too much, though, but they going to compete. Vikings, man, they got that win. Vikings, man, regardless of what they got going on, regardless of that defense trash or not, they still have a pretty good offense as far as with the running game and the weapons surrounding it. And Kirk Cousins, man, I was down on Kirk Cousins, man, especially coming out of Washington. But Kirk Cousins, man, he's home. Like, he's like, that's like the perfect fit for him, dealing with the weapons like that, So, Kirk Cousins, man, he been playing real solid ball, man. So you got to take your hat off to Kirk, man. Kirk been playing some good ball, man. Yeah, Kirk ain't no Hall of Fame type player, though, but Kirk been playing some good ball, man. Ravens and Patriots, man. Patriots, man, then had Mac Jones get hurt. He's probably going to be out a few weeks. Ravens pulled that out. This is not going to be a good year for the Patriots, I believe. Not going to be a good year. Bill Belichick, he going to win some games off of just his mastermind. But as far as, them days of the Tom Brady days, them done. Will Bill Belichick be able to bounce back? I'm sure of it. I'm sure he'll build that team to be able to bounce back. But right now, he's just trying to build that team. You always have them off years, man. And last year and this year might be his off year, man. And maybe he'll bounce back in the coming up year, man. But for sure, what Patriots need to do is draft better. They need to draft better. And once they draft better, man, they'll be able to sustain, Because, one thing's for sure, Patriots, everybody got their way of winning. And the Patriots have their way of winning. But however, though, their way of winning is lightweight caught up to them because of them not being able to draft the way that they should be drafting, just a little bit better. You ain't got to be like the Dallas Cowboys. However, you do need to be a better draft team. So that's something they do need to work on. Bengals and the Jets, the Bengals bounced back. They had to fight for that win. But pretty much they took care of business the way that they needed to. You're not going to blow everybody out, even if it's a lower team or not, man. It's still an NFL team, and the Bengals got a much win. They was able to bounce back and do their thing, 27-12. Ain't too much to say about that game. Eagles and the Commanders, for the most part, man, the Eagles dominated that game. However, you can look at it as 24-8. The Eagles pretty much did they scoring all in one quarter, So you got to look at it like, where was you at the other 3 quarters? Where was your offense at the other 3 quarters? And, the Commanders, man, even though the Commanders was kind of shorthanded and with a lack of depth, they still fought on defense and was able to keep it a close enough game for the offense to try to do something. The offense did a whole bunch of nothing. The offense struggled to protect. The offensive coordinator struggled to adjust, and and therefore, it ended up being an L. Carson Wentz is he's very careless with the football, and that plays a factor too. But in the situation that he's in, even with the offensive line issues, it's really a no excuse situation because he has a pretty decent defense around him, even though their back end is suspect, and he has weapons around him with Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas and a couple of decent running backs. So therefore, it's no excuse not to get this done. That just speaks volumes on the type of quarterback that Wentz is. Will Wentz be able to pick it up? We'll see. Probably one of the best, wouldn't say maybe the best situations he probably really been in, other than, when he was hurt and they made that Super Bowl run. But who's to said that they would have won that Super Bowl with his weak ass at quarterback? So who knows? Maybe Foles was the right man for the job. Who knows? But evidently, they moved on from him. Not only with the confidence with Hurts, so there's something going on in him. And you already know Hurts, man, he's a running back playing quarterback. So, shoot, hey. Panthers and the Saints. Panthers go ahead and get that win, a much-needed win. Saints dealing with Jameis banged up. They had Taysom Hill banged up. One thing for sure, Carolina got a pretty decent defense. So Carolina was able to defense their way on to win that game. And another thing for sure is if Carolina is going to be able to make some type of noise this year to be able to compete maybe for a spot in the Offs, because the NFC is wide open, they're going to need Baker Mayfield to play a lot better, and they're going to have to make a better emphasis to give their best wide receiver, DJ Moore, the ball, because, the volume that he getting, it needs to be doubled. And it just, it don't make no sense for somebody, who done played with probably lesser quarterbacks to be able to, produce and not be able to do nothing with Baker Mayfield. So him and Baker going to have to get on the same page if the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to do something. Because, they're going to keep keying on McCaffrey. What if McCaffrey goes down again? McCaffrey has a problem with staying healthy. So with that being the case, you need to get something going. You need to, while they're keying in, you should have, rapport at wide receiver. It ain't like you got no bums on the outside. You got some decent wide receivers on the outside. So get it done. You probably, the offensive line ain't as good over there in Carolina, but you dealing with a more talented running back. You got DJ Moore. Evidently, you got more offensive weapons. You got a pretty decent defense around you. Yeah, you ain't got the same offensive line, but hey, you ain't gonna never be in no perfect situation. So, for Baker Mayfield, if he gonna come up short, that's gonna say a lot about Baker Mayfield. But it's a long season left, and teams do bounce back. Some teams start hot, some teams don't. Some teams can sustain, some teams won't. Guess you will have to see. Jaguars and Chargers. Ooh, 38-10. I wasn't expecting that. With Jaguars with the win. Jaguars got they surprising me. I knew Jaguars was gonna come, but I didn't know they was gonna come this year though. I knew they was gonna come maybe next year, but not this year. They definitely an improved team. Is they making some noise? I don't know, but definitely improved. That was very surprising. They may be my surprise team, so they definitely my surprise team so far. 38-10. They 2-1, so maybe. And you go to California, you go all the way to California to do that? Hey, go ahead, Jags. Jags doing their thing right now. People say that they're not big on Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence is actually a good quarterback, man. So Trevor Lawrence just needed some weapons, and one thing's for sure, they're starting to bring a little bit more weapons around them. And one thing's for sure is that they're running that football. So, yeah, man. But Rams and Cardinals, Rams got that. Cardinals, man, it's the Kyler Murray effect. Look, I understand that you ain't got DeAndre. I understand that you may be a little bit banged up at wide receiver. But Kyler Murray, with the legs that you have, you should be making more plays. Rams got that 2012 though, but to me, he threw for like 60 times, y'all. And that's unacceptable, man, not to put up a better performance offensively like that. Go ahead, use your legs, man. Go ahead, do something. You got a Cliff, as your head, but yet y'all being inefficient on offense. I told you, man, it's just something about Kyler Murray. He just don't love football to me, y'all. He don't love football to me, and it shows in his play. And even though the Rams, they got that championship caliber though. But to be honest with you, man, they should have definitely, even though it was 2012, they definitely should have put up a better game than what they did. Falcons and the Seahawks. Falcons got that win, battle of the bums. Both of them teams really ain't gonna do too much. Falcons pulled that out. One thing for sure, Drake London is he's coming along well. Kyle Pitts had a bounce back game. Cordero Patterson, or whatever you want to pronounce his name, he's definitely found a home over there in Atlanta and being a good utility player for him, man. And he's just providing an added weapon. Mariota, Mariota ain't no, he ain't no Pro Bowl quarterback though. But one thing for sure, his mobility is definitely helping him pull that win out and be able to stay kind of competitive in these games. Geno Smith, man, he's actually playing some decent ball. Geno Smith actually playing some decent ball, especially in the circumstances he in. You got to give it to him. Yeah, but, regarding Seattle, though, Seattle won't be a good team, as mentioned before. But you got to give it to them, though. Even the bad teams is going to look like they're going to give us some type of competition this year. For sure, one thing for sure, you can't take nobody lightly. Packers and the Bucks. Yeah, man. It was a good win for Green Bay. The Bucks were shorthanded, but Green Bay came to play. Man, their defense came to play. They did their thing. Battle of the two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, man, and Aaron Rodgers finally get out. He was tired of taking that Tom Brady ass whooping, and yeah, man, he had to respond, man. They both got up for that game due to the circuit. They both were short-handed. They both don't really have no, didn't have no weapons, but Brady has weapons though, but they just wasn't available. But Brady makes do, and Aaron Rodgers made it what he had to do and made do to get what he do, throwing the Romeo Dubs and throwing it to unknown wide receivers. They just show you how good of a quarterback that they are, man. Hall of Fame quarterback. So it was good to see both them quarterbacks duel it out, because you just never know when you're gonna be able to see something like that again. So I was tuned in to make sure I enjoyed that, because one thing's for sure, man. Growing up, man, you growed up watching all these quarterbacks, man, and they toward the end of the days, they more toward the end than the beginning. At any year, any second, any game, could be their last. Not wishing that that they don't have healthy seasons, but it's just the reality of the situation. So yeah, man, it was good to see that game. I like close defensive, low-scoring games. So I definitely enjoyed that game, even though a lot of that had to do with offense efficiency, not too much on the defenses. But how that go. Broncos and the Niners. I watched that game. That was a well game. I like that game too. It was very ugly, just like I like it. Broncos put it out. Russell Wilson struggled the whole game, but showed his greatness and showed that, no matter the circumstances, hey, I'm going to get that one drive to put us over the top. Defense seal it out. And that's exactly what they did. They beat the Niners 11-10. See, one thing about San Francisco is they thought they was better than what they are, and they really not. They don't have the makeup. And the quarterback that should have been starting from the get-go is actually playing right now, because Jimmy Garoppolo is actually the better for that situation. And, yeah, I know y'all wanted to go with the young quarterback, though. But, yeah, I know for sure that they sick not having Mac Jones. It's just something about Lance. I don't know what it is, though, Not saying that he going to be a bum, but I'm just saying, especially right now, he not it. And I don't know if he ever will be it, to be honest with you. He might just be one of them quarterbacks that, he'll have some decent games, and he'll have the mobility factor of the thing, But if you don't surround him about nothing, especially no. So unfortunately, he's out for the season. So, he'll have a year to not only get, stronger, but get mentally stronger and see how he bounces back next year. Because next year, that's going to be a big year for him to determine what he about. So, one thing San Francisco have to do is continue to try to build that team around him. Because, one thing's for sure, it's like they shop at the Dollar General for running backs. They shop at the Dollar General, what I'm saying, for yeah, for corners. They shop at the Dollar General for offensive linemen. Yeah, they got Trent Williams though, but he's out for a month, so and that's one thing that you had to expect was even though Trent Williams is a Hall of Fame type of player, he's always hurt, so it's just a matter of time is can he stay healthy, and Mr. Wooden Leg. So they play hard though. They a hard nosed team. They play hard, but they're not as good talently as they think they are, and that's what's going to hold them back. It's not really the play style. It's just the talent level on that team. Bosa, he decent, and Kinlaw, he's kind of underperforming the way that he should be performing a lot better. But other than that, it's just going to be a team that just plays hard and probably gets some wins like that, but really won't do too much this year, unfortunately. Yeah, man, as far as just the scheme wise, the scheme fits them. D'Amico Ryans, he's coming out solid as a defensive coordinator, but a lot of the times it really don't be them. It just be the team that they playing, if I'm being honest with you. Because once you come up with a real team that's gonna come to form, because if they played the same Russell Wilson, probably about another 5-6 weeks, Russell Wilson would have probably blew him out. If I'm being honest with you, the Broncos just got to get some things together right now. It's just they just starting off slow, just like the Colts starting off slow, just like a couple other teams starting off slow. They just got to get things together though, So nothing against the Niners because they'll win some games just off of their hard nosed play. But as far as being a playoff team, I can't see it this year. Dallas and the Giants. That was a good game. Dallas fought through adversity. They won 23-16. Um, that game, Dallas should have blew them out. Dallas missed some opportunities offensively, which kept the game closer than what it should be. Dallas is also showing that they're one of them teams that are complete. Um, you know, they're running the ball. They getting back to the run game. They got a defense. They special teams is clicking, and Cooper Rush, they backup man, is doing just enough, to be able to, make the throws necessary to be able to keep them in or to win the game. So you got to shout out, man. You got to shout out to that front offense, man. Um, you know, so yeah, like nonetheless, it was a good game. The Giants, man. Um, like I said, man, the Giants, they're I like Daniel Jones. I'm more high on him than others. They doing a horrible job of surrounding Daniel Jones with what he needs. Because Saquon Barkley is not enough. So when you surround him by mediocre wide receivers, a trash defense, and a trash offensive line, and you expect greatness out of him, come on, man. Come on, man. When have you ever gave that man a chance to succeed? That man was coached, man, by David Cutcliffe or whatever his name is. I always butcher his name, from Duke. Man, come on, man. He come from a good quarterback coach, one of the best to ever do it. And then you trying to tell me that all of a sudden he just can't play the game? Can't play the game? No, it's just who you surround yourself by. It's the coaching, man. It's everything. You put Daniel Jones maybe in a situation with the coach and watch him shine. You put him in the other better situations, and I bet you he'll come out better. So, whether he comes and become a starter from somewhere else, if he don't come back with the Giants, or whether he comes, in a backup situation, any team, especially Daniel Jones as a backup, come on, man, you winning. You winning, and he kept them in that game, He was getting smacked the whole game, and he still kept them in and had them a chance to be able to win. Your defense was just trash. Your right tackle was just trash. So, you can't hold that against Daniel Jones because you failed to build around him. And I'm just being real, y'all. You know, you see people be trashing these quarterbacks, man, and trashing certain situations, but it really be that you set these people up for failure. And how you gonna get mad when you set when you set these quarterbacks up for failure when you ain't getting the results that you really want? But that's all I got to say, y'all. Man, you know, that's a wrap for my wrap up. Y'all have a good one. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe for me, and we out.